Alright guys, so today I'm going to do the time lapse and the creation of the mermaid that I made, and it's starting with this one. This one I offered to my boss, John, who he pointed to a spot on the wall, but I did this one in 2012 and I could not find it, so I started to embark on a journey, and that journey is to make a new one, and that is coupled with anxiety that comes from, I was expecting it to be hung in the club, and so I had an anxiety the entire time about all the people in there drinking and commenting on it. I wanted to make something that was aesthetically pleasing to them, that they would wanted to see, because the whole goal was to be able to sell to them. So the entire process of this, I wanted to recreate the original one that I had, because it had a very similar style to what's on the wall in there, but I wanted to make it better. So here what you're seeing is me doing the background, which is a kind of basic thing at this point, but I wanted to make something in the background because I didn't have something in the background in the original piece, and I wanted it to have a certain volume to it. And what I do in the bottom here, well, I kind of rushed it, and I had an idea what I wanted it to come out like, but that's not what it came out like. So I continue, and as I continue, I'm highlighting those long grass blades, and those grass blades, ultimately I want them to have as much depth as I want the mermaid that then comes after that to have. So those long grass blades have to have a light source, and that light source has to continue with the entire piece, and I do go through and I shadow them after that. And the way that I shadowed them was something that was kind of new to me. I got illustration markers, and I used the illustration marker to shadow it, and then while it was still wet, I blended it with the rest of the grass. And though it blended much darker because there was a black ink, I then go over it and I highlight it again after I put dark shadows into it, so which gives each blade of grass, those big blades of grass, get a very deep feeling as I highlight them, and I then trim them back, and then I go over them. And then the background I felt needed more depth to it. It couldn't just be a monocolor, so I went over it again, and I just did portions of it. And I liked the way this piece came out as that. I was actually very proud of just the background and the blades of grass as it was, because I liked the way that it came out. But it of course needed more because I wasn't done yet. And so I continued, and I took that background and I painted over the grass at the bottom because I didn't like the way that it looked, and I never put it back there. So then the extra thing that I thought it needed was a little bit of glow in the dark, because that's something that would only be seen by the ownership, and that would only be in the late hours when they're locking the doors to go home. And from there I painted the mermaid over. And the mermaid had to be similar to what the mermaid was to begin with, so she had to have a very large chest. Even though that chest originally was a mistake, it was just a slip in the brush, and we don't make mistakes here, we just have happy accidents. I just went with it and gave her a huge chest. In the case of this one, it had to have the huge chest because the last one had the huge chest. So I start her with a huge chest, and then the tail I thought had to do something special. And though the tail wasn't exactly the way that the other one was, because the other one was kind of a bluish green color, this one I went with a purple and red and blue, and I just kind of mixed everything in there. But I liked the way that it blended. I really liked the way that it blended. And of course I then go over and I put the shadowing around the entire thing to make it pop out a little bit more, and I did the blades of grass a little bit more. But I'm not done there, because I have to continue from there, and I made the fins much more involved. And though you can't really see the work right there, what I do is I blend, but not fully blend, a whole lot of paint, and it gives it a texture. Well, that texture is nice. And then here I'm doing a face, and that face, ultimately I wasn't happy with the shape of the head nor the face, but as I do the face I always bring extra to the rest of the body, because that all has to blend in together. And so I'm always doing shadowing and work on the face. And then I started with the hair, and the hair had to be very wild, because the way that I thought about the hair was, if you were swimming in the water and you just stopped but the current kept going, what would the hair look like? And so that's how I created this hair. And I put a lot of effort into the hair. The hair, again, had to have shadows and highlights, so I had to go through different colors and different things and add to it. Then I wasn't happy with the way the face or the arm was, so I actually reconstructed the arm on the side. I thought it was way too short, and I just had to reconstruct it. Now, I was really happy with the original hands that I had, but I had to redo it, because, like I said, there was this extra pressure based on, this eagle. This eagle is something that the owner had hung to rebrand the garden for, hopefully for the year, but maybe not for the year. And that eagle, I had heard people every time they saw it, they were commenting on it and talking about what it looked like and what it was, and I never really heard anything good about it. I had that extra anxiety that I didn't want to not hear anything good about my piece of art that I was making. And then I went further into where the background was, and I gave it more depth. Here I am doing the rest of the details, a little bit of background, putting the last face on. That's the finished product. Now, when I gave it to the man, I have never seen anyone so happy with a piece of art, and he offered me a gallery spot in AJ's, which is his antique store on the Avalon Island, which is a very good opportunity for me, and I can't be happier. Even though he is hanging it in his house, I think it'll get plenty of views in his house, and he will enjoy it the entire time that he has it, and that's what I am so happy about. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this and you want to see any of my other art, you can go ahead and check out that playlist there. Or if you want YouTube to pick out what's best for you, you can go ahead and check out that video there. As always, guys, I want you to like the video, subscribe, and I really want to thank you for watching. I wouldn't do this without you. I can't thank you enough. So I will see all my friends later.